I am going to show you guys how to make a super cute mushroom garden stake. So first up is supplies. You are going to need your soldering iron, of course, your glass, some metal rods that you are going to use as stakes, paper towel to apply alcohol with, flux, and a little container to put it in. I just use a bottle cap and something to apply it with. A brush or an old toothbrush can work. Gloves to wear to protect your hand. Solder. I am getting very low, as you can see. Some copper foil and a fid to help rub the copper foil on. So let's begin. I forgot to say you will also need a piece of paper to draw your design. So let's draw a mushroom. Look at this glass. I am so excited to use it. Because I drew it on the right side of the glass, I am gonna flip this over and I can still see it, so I'm not even going to draw it on this side. I am going to take my cutting tool, scoring tool, a little bit of oil. I just like to put a little drop on there. And I am just gonna cut off this little piece first. And this doesn't really have to be perfect because it's a mushroom. In the wild, you know, they're gonna grow all sorts of funky shapes. And we'll just break that off. I forgot I had all of this scrap glass, so let's see if we can find a piece that looks like it could be a good stem for the mushroom. That looks like it'll be pretty good. And so we can draw on here. I think I'll use this side of the glass. I don't know if you can tell, but this piece is textured. This piece is smoother, and I feel like the textured would be good for the mushroom. So this is going to be the front. Now we are going to go to the grinder with these pieces and clean up some of these edges. I'm just going to top up my water level here. We're back over at the table. Now I want to take off any glass dust residue, so I'm just going to take a little bit of alcohol. Make sure we clean that all up so that the copper foil sticks really well to it. Let that dry. dry, which should just take a few seconds, and we are ready to assemble. I have my copper foil. The only part that I'm actually going to put it on is right here. For the mushrooms, I like to do the edge in hobby cane because one, it just makes it have a nice looking finish. And then also it kind of helps, this is gonna be a hinge joint here. So when this is wrapped along there in the corner, it's gonna help keep it together so that this doesn't end up wiggling and detaching. I am switching over to my silver coated foil, which is nice to use when you have a piece that is see-through because you're gonna see the back of the foil through the glass. Maybe not necessarily on this piece, but I have it, so just in case, that's what I'm going to use. Just peel a little bit off there to get it started. Turn her over, do the same to the back. We have this soldered. I've stretched my cane a little bit, and I'm gonna start off in one of these corners so that I have somewhere to join this to. So I'm gonna take a little bit of flux there, on here too. I like to use my fid to just make sure she's in there nice and snug. And take a little bit of solder and drop it on there. I'm going to flip it over and do the same. Problem here. I'm already wiggly at this hinge joint, but I'm just gonna keep going because this is just for me. I'm not giving this as a gift to anyone. And then I'll show you how it holds, how the cane kind of holds it together. Plus we're gonna be adding a stake on as well, so that's gonna help the support. Because there aren't a lot of places on this piece where I can solder the cane to, I'm using a glue called E6000, which is really strong, to help adhere the cane to the areas where there isn't any copper foil. So I just apply a little dot of the glue and then press it on, and then I solder where I can. And then here I've applied a few dots of the glue, and I'm just going around pressing it on. And I'm gonna cut the cane and then solder that on as well. Now I'm going to take a Q-tip and some alcohol. And as you can see here, some of the glue is kind of been squished through. So the alcohol will just remove it. I hold the cane tight to it and then remove any glue. Now to help the cane really stay on there tightly, I like to take some paper towel and some pins. And you don't want to put the pins right up against this because it's going to scratch it. So that's why I use the paper towel. Put one on that side, one on this side, So anywhere there's glue, I just find this helps it to really adhere nice and tightly so that it doesn't separate. And then I think this is fine down here, so I'm not gonna do it to the stem. And then we're gonna leave this for 24 hours. Okay, it has been 24 hours, so we can take out the pins. And it's really on there, so that's great. This is the back. So before we clean it, we need to attach our rod. I am going to basically just attach it like that. If you wanted a lot of stability, you could do that, but then you might see the rod through it a little bit. So we are going to take a little bit of flax, put it there, hold your rod up and put it at the places where it's going to be touching the solder or the cam. And remember, you're doing this on the back, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of solder, put it on. And now we're going to solder on the bottom. This is what she's looking like from the back, super stable. Now, doesn't have to look super pretty. Remember, it's more about strength, in my opinion, because it's on the back. So now we can go wash this and get ready to polish. So here's the finished piece, looking super cute, and we're gonna put her right here.